Welcome to Lost in the Lakes, and today we're going for a walk up Lonscale Fell. So we're starting off in Keswick at the bottom of Spurney Green Lane.
Welcome to Lost in the Lakes, where you get brews, reviews, but best of all, views.
This first part of it's a bridleway, and then we're going to be walking up via Lattrig. You can actually go off right to Lattrig if you want. I'll show you where that is, and you can carry on going up as if you're going to go towards Skiddaw. Then I'll show you the little diversion that you do to get over to Lonscale Fell. As you're walking up here, you can see Skiddaw and everything like that. This lower one on the right, that is Lonscale, and it's looking like it's going to be quite windy up there. So it should be some good fun. Weather's going to stay quite nice today. So apart from the wind, I think at least we'll stay dry. As you come through the gate here, you've got this information board on the right. It tells you about Lattrig Woods and all the things and animals and stuff that you can see. And this is where the climbing starts as well. Don't be disheartened. It's quite steep to start off with, but it does level off sort of halfway, and it does give you quite a bit of a rest. Coming up to the sort of first viewpoint, as you look over to the left there. Haven't climbed too much, but because of the valley you get quite a nice view early on. As you come up here, go off, it's pretty much straight ahead. This leads you back down to a different place on Lattrig, so you want to be carrying on up this way. So when you get to this little point here, you can carry on round there, which just takes you round, or you can actually just cut through. This just cuts the corner, but if you do go around this way, I do believe you can get a couple of views looking down the way through the trees. Okay, as you're coming through here, make sure you keep to the left-hand trail. It's tempting to go straight ahead. If you want to go to Lattrig, I would avoid this and go this way, because that takes you up a steep grassy bank, and this is the main route off here. As you get through here, we get to another lovely viewpoint. I think it'll be quite nice today, the way the sun is. Here's the first part of it, and then you get round the corner, and then you can see more as you get away from these woods. Here we go, here's the second and proper viewpoint really. You get more of a nice vista, nice views when you come up later on actually. And then this is some information of Gailgill Woods and what you would expect to find and what might have roamed many years ago, but they've been abolished now. But yeah, it tells you all the sort of main, well, there's only 4 peaks it's showing you actually. Cat Bells, and then for some reason Causey Pike, and then that one there is Grisdale Pike, and it mentions about Derwent Water as well. Right, onwards and upwards, so you can see Skiddaw in all its glory. Some general information about Skiddaw, so it's quite easy to tell from here actually. A lot of people think that this little hill here, which is called Lower Man, is actually the summit of Skiddaw. The summit of Skiddaw is this dark sort of mound behind that actually looks further down. When you're up there, there's probably about a mile difference between the two in distance, and obviously Skiddaw is higher, but it looks it's a bit of an optical illusion that bit there looks, hang on a minute, where are we at? That bit there looks lower than that one. It's just because it's Lower Man's a lot closer. Little Man, not Lower Man. Right, you can kind of see where we're going now. We're going to be going off up this trail here, and then as you get near the top of this one, which is Jenkins Hill, there's a little path that takes you off to the right and cuts across onto the top of Lonscale. Just looking at this tree here, you can see where the prevailing wind's going. Look how much it's pushed this way, and it's not just because of the wind, it's actually all grown like that. Every branch is pointing off to the right there. So the prevailing wind is from up there, from up that valley, and obviously down. So it's a good one for working out where winds are going, really. And you can definitely tell this one. Just coming up here now. This growth here, in winter time you get views all the way across here, but obviously in summer, all that's nicer, you don't get as many because everything's grown up. You can usually see gaps in these trees, but it's all full of bushes and bracken and everything. But yeah, there's bracken for days. Okay, if you're coming up here and you want to do a second summit, this one takes you off to Latrig, off to the right there. I do have a guide that takes you up there, so you could follow that, maybe come back down, or you can come back over the summit to the car park. We want to be going straight up here. Okay, so we're coming up, you can just see the gate in the distance there. That's the gate for the car park, for everyone knows it as Skiddaw car park. So if you're going to Skiddaw summit, you want to cut the first sort of half hour to an hour out, you can drive up to there. Okay, so we're coming up to the gate now, and this is Skiddaw car park. As you can see, some people deciding to stop the night, I think. We're going to be going off up there, right. Okay, so as you come through the car park, hook a left and follow the trail by the wall. Right, as the sun's going in a little bit, it's starting to get a little bit chilly. So mid-July, when the sun goes in up the fells and it's nearing on later on the day, you do get cold again still, all year round. Always bring a jacket. Right, so we're coming up to a gate. We'll be going off, following this fence up that way. If you go that way, it takes you onto Lonscale Terrace, and that takes you back down there, and you can come, you go down one side of the valley and back up the other, and takes you out at Blencathra Centre, and there is a little walk back from there. And if anyone wants me to do it, just leave a comment below and I can do a little guide on that. Okay, as you come past that memorial, it's a bit of a climb now. It's about as steep as what it was at the start of Spoony Green, except a bit more exposed, and you can just see the footpath going off to the left, off to the right, sorry, and we'll be cutting across there, and I think hopefully that'll be out of the wind at that point. So I think the wind at this point is gusting at about 20, 25, something like that. So we'll be going up considerably higher. Lonscale Fell is 712 metres, I think. I'll put it up in the description. Now there is some footpaths, you can just see one going off up there, which again takes you up Lonsdale, but we're going to go Lonscale, we're going to go up this one, which is the main route. Okay, to give you an idea where we're going, this is where we cut through and went up by the road, by the wall. You dip down and come back up, and then as you go up, you got a few zigzags. You climb up, almost following this wall, and when the wall kinks right, you take that path, and you can see a little path that's cut across there, and then you just take that almost straight line up to the top there, and it looks like it's quite boggy there as well, so we'll have to be careful. I've only got trainers on, and then I've should be just, sorry, I think this is a fence, not a wall, but yeah, I do know that this is a fence, so we'll be following this fence over to the right and then get to the summit, which is there. Right, so as you're climbing up here, you've got this gate. It's a good place to have a rest and have a look around at the views as well. Today's you get quite a spectacular views. As it's later on in the day, you can see the shadows on the left hand side of the fells, and it does look quite nice like that. And you can see a ways over to Ray's just on the left there, and then leading up the dark fell, looming in between is Helvellyn. Right, so this is it. This is the kink in the wall. When I said fence or wall, that I wasn't sure of. I thought that was a tent up there to coil. So this path follows, the path does actually come back on it, so you don't actually have to go straight up here, but I'm going to take this route here just because when you're navigating it's easier once you're by a wall. And I think this wall does finish, and then it's just a fence after that. This is where you come off if you were going to carry on up the path. You can come off here and then continue on up this way, following the wall all the way up to the top now. As you come away from the main path, the wind's dropping now because we're getting into a bit of a valley, or more of a gorge really, or a gill, whatever you want to call it. And you can see the fence kind of snakes round a bit, and the path kind of goes in a direct line straight up there. So you can tell by the width of this path, you know, it's only like a shoe's width, that this is a less trodden path. And Lonscale, every path that goes up to it is very much the same. So you can tell compared to your sort of cat bells that you just can't see around the corner, your Waller Crag, the path that we've just came on, that this fell is a much quieter fell. So if you want a guide, sort of layman's guide of how busy a fell is, have a look at the path leading up, and then you can almost tell whether it's going to be a busy fell. So I've never been up Lonscale, been meaning to, gone past it many times. Lonscale Terrace, and on the way up to Skiddaw, which is up that way. Well, not up that way, but over that way. And it's just a short walk over. I've never actually been up or done it. So this is a first for me and a first for you, if you've never been up or seen a video of it. Little lammies. It does look like there is some sort of path going up by the fence there, whereas this is the main path. This is the one that's actually mapped. So if you were struggling to navigate, say in winter time when there was snow, you could just follow the fence all the way. They both kind of come up onto the same place. This comes up onto the left side of this gill, and on the map it's looking like it's maybe slightly boggy, but we'll get up and have a look. Another little bit of advice: if you're following up here and you think, oh, there's no wind, even though there's been wind before, you're in a valley, have a look up and see what the clouds are doing, and you can see they're kind of racing along to the right hand side. So one, you can see which way the wind's going. Two, the clouds are quite low, so the potential of clagging out is high. And three, you can see it's windy. A little bit of erosion here. And it almost looks like rain comes off and runs down here. But there's no sort of sign of it before or after. You know, usually you'd see, I mean, there is a bit of a gully here, so quite possibly. It's starting to level off a little bit now. You can see fence turns into wall, goes up, and where we are on that map, where the wall meets the fence wall, then we take it up from there. So hoping when we get up here there'll be a stile which will dictate which side of the fence wall we'll be going on. Again, this is new territory to me now, and you can feel the wind picking up a little bit now. It's actually coming on a different direction as we're coming up over the top. There we go, and there's the wind. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it is forecast to die off. Right, I can just see a fence in the distance. We've got a path that goes to the fence, another path that goes off to the right. But what I can't see is how that path gets onto this side. So you can see almost a quad bike track going up the right hand side there. So we'll take this right hand side path, see where it gets us. And I think it might be a bit of an optical illusion that you have to climb over a fence, because we're already on the right hand side. So I think you just have to cut through a little gap in the wall there. And that's the drop down off Lonscale. Again, I always thought this was level, but it drops down a considerable way. But it's a good old path. And I can imagine in winter time this whole area being quite boggy. There is a path, like a sheep trail, that takes you off over onto the top of Jenkins Hill. That's another path over to here. Right, let's see what's going on here. So I've just checked on the OS map, and there's no actually designated path for this. So I can only imagine this is the way over this fence. Seems a bit undoing. Well, so unless there's a stile to go through here, but I've damaged nothing that's already, I mean, it's already been damaged. So hopefully this is the way. If not, you'd be going through that gate. I mean, there's obviously a reason why the gate's on there, whether it's just for farmers to get through onto the land, and then we'll just carry on up here. And as you can see, this trail here, I mean, you've got three paths. So what looked like a quad bike path, don't think it is. I think it's just where people have, you know, this could be quite dirty and boggy in winter. So we've chosen 3 different paths, and they're kind of all skirting up together. So looking back, you can see the path from Little Man going up there, then obviously coming down here. So if you were wanting to get another peek in or do Skiddaw, Skiddaw's right over in the distance there, and then you come along this bit, and then the main path you can just see coming down there and skirts along there. Right, the wind's picking up now as we're getting higher. We're getting less shade off the other fells. So it's starting to get a little bit colder now. The sun's gone in, or at least behind this little cloud here. So we should be quite near the top now. But certainly within sight of the top as we get over this breast. Okay, can we see the summit? Is there a cairn? Yes. So you can just see the top of the cairn over there. So again, winter time, follow this fence all the way up, and then obviously when it kinks to the left, you want to be going off to the right and just following the cairn. Hopefully, I mean, it's a small cairn up there, but you'd be hoping it was just kicking out the snow enough for you to see. And again, with this being quite level up here, this at the moment is dry, but then in winter time or when there's been a lot of rain, I can imagine this being quite a little boggy area, maybe keeping higher and avoiding bits like that. That looks to me like it should be avoided. And there's the summit of Lonscale Fell. Right, there we go. I think one of the reasons why we've got a small cairn is that not many rocks around. As you can see, there's a couple down there. So that's probably another reason why it's quite small. It's quite a flat summit, this. Now, it does look like it's higher over there than here. Let's just check the OS map and see what it says. Right. It does actually say we're on the summit, but it is quite flat. But as far as views are concerned, I think over here would be a bit nicer. So we're just going to venture over here. It's always nice to get a bit of height. Actually, when you look back on yourself, you can tell that that one is higher. But as far as views are concerned, I think maybe this point over here. Check that out. You can see the whole of the main part of the Lake District, all the high mountains. If these clouds were any lower, you wouldn't see much, but you can only just see Skiddaw Fell Pike just sort of looming in the background there. Skiddaw Fell and Skiddaw Fell Pike. Great Gable just over to the right hand side. And then many mountains that I don't know names of in the background there. And a few more that I'm learning over that way. So that's it. Lonscale. Quite a uninteresting fell, but same again. 360 views. There we are. Lonscale, 715 metres. Right, so we've just come up off the top of Lonscale. We came down the other route. This was the route that I took up. And then along to the right hand side, you can just see it kind of snaking off to the right there. And then that's where you get up over the top. Coming back down, just followed a fence all the way down, which takes you to here, which is a path to Lonscale Terrace. And you come back along here and then join up with the other path and then rinse and repeat right back down to Spoony Green Lane. This sheep here looks really tired. Oh, bless his heart. Right, here we are. Top of Spoony Green Lane. Just cut through the top of Lonscale Fell. This has been Lost in the Lakes, and we'll see you in the next one.